Well, hey, YouTube, and anyone else watching, friends, family, anyone, Bueller. Anyway, my name is Keenan, and it is winter here in Minnesota. So, among other things, that means it's the season for projects. I've always been a bit of a motorhead. I've had dirt bikes since I was a kid. Worked on four-wheelers, jet skis, the odd boat with my dad, some old Jeeps here and there, my friends' stuff. But for whatever reason, I have been terrible at documenting things. And so, due to a lot of fortuitous events that have happened recently, I'm going to start documenting those things. So, without any further ado, welcome to my girlfriend's garage. How's that for an intro? All right, like I said, I've been working on projects for most of my life, here and there, little stuff. I've actually even got a couple videos on my old YouTube channel regarding this particular Camaro. As you see these banners on the wall. Let me pause. I got the old Pat McAfee show going here. Shout out, Pat. So, as I mentioned, fortuitous events. One of them is meeting my wonderful girlfriend. And she's got this amazing garage. I've always wanted to record my projects and have a space to work on legit things. And lo and behold, we've been together a year, and I got this lift and installed it. Got the shop cleaned out and set up, some lighting installed. My display out here, got the heat going. Plugged into my computer. This is for later. All this goodness will be explained later. We got boxes and boxes of goodness, folks. AFR, Yellowterra, BTR, Mosier, Hearst, NOS, Eibach, Bilstein, all the good stuff. Oh, is that a monster clutch in there? Yes, it is. So, moral of the story, I plan on bringing you guys along for the full engine build that is going to happen this winter. Well, engine slash drivetrain slash suspension slash interior slash a little bit of nitrous. So that should be a lot of fun. Maybe we'll talk about this bad boy at some point. Just as a teaser. So, I've yet to start on this Camaro for this season, but it is getting, like I said, a full build top to bottom. My plan is to keep myself responsible, attempt daily video uploads. So if you're people that like to tune in daily with a little nugget of information, I would love to hear it. I don't know if I'll be going live yet or not at any points, but we'll see. But I'm going to get started on this, and then I'm going to follow along. This is an article from LS1 Tech via the Wayback Machine, so I could see the pictures. Shout out, Caliente. Engine removal from underneath. I'm going to pull the engine, and then we're going to go from there. So I'm going to plan on bringing you guys along every step of the way. Little bit of background on me. I am huge into automotive YouTube. I've watched Roadkill since the beginning. David Freiberger and Mike Finnegan, you guys are the GOATs. All the Motor Trend shows, Hot Rod Garage, Tony Angelo, Stay Tuned, shout out, also a GOAT. Steve Dulcich, Steve Brule, my Engine Masters hero. Yeah, I'm just trying to think out loud now while I'm pacing. So in that sort of vein, I hope to emulate kind of what those guys do, obviously not to the huge production. I'm not a video editor, but hopefully I can come up with some sort of intro. My girlfriend is super artistic, so we've already got a little logo made ready to go. Haven't printed it out yet, but that's coming up. Also, shout out to Richard Holdner. Tune into him live whenever he's up here on YouTube. I would say probably solid 75% of the info that I may be bringing up later in this build with regards to my part selection, with regards to my goals, just with regards to engine knowledge in general. I listen to him religiously, I would say. My experience, I am not a trained mechanic. I did not go to school for this. I am currently a employee, I guess you would say, on a geology crew, which I also did not go to school for. So, moral of the story, if you want to do it, just jump in and do it. It helps to meet a really cool girlfriend and be able to use her shop, but I digress. I do have a little experience working on these late model GM V8s. I worked at a shop in Minnesota specializing in Corvettes for a while. We did many engine swaps, many cam jobs, intakes, turbos, superchargers. Probably my coolest car that I personally built there was we took a 2015 ZL1 Camaro and E85'd it, boosted the boost, all that fun stuff. And that ended up putting out 849 horsepower to the rear tire on the dyno at Doug Rippey Motorsports, which is my former employer, which is also coincidentally where this car will be getting tuned, hopefully in March, which is again to keep myself on task and ideally stick to those dates, keep myself working. So, I guess also just to mention, I talked about roadkill briefly. Roadkill, I would not be doing this if it wasn't for the inspiration from those guys. Obviously, the episodes will still be around, and there's going to be more new episodes, I think Freiberger has said on his YouTube. But yeah, in the meantime, those guys laid the groundwork, so I'm just hoping to contribute a little bit here. And for anyone wanting to tune in on a daily episode sort of thing, I hope to keep up with some daily updates, a couple little shorts here and there. I'm gonna get going on this bad boy, and I'm gonna start with the engine removal process, and then I think at some point after that, maybe when I ship the cylinder heads off, which I'll talk about, I'll go over my part selection, my camshaft, my rockers, what am I looking at here? Rear end, suspension, nitrous, box full of various gauges. I got a windage tray, a crank scraper. What else is in here? Lifters, trays, bolts, intake manifold down there. But yeah, today I'm going to start. What I'm going to do first is yank the wheels off just to get them out of the way. And then the driver's seat is power actuated, and I'm going to need to get that out for what I'm going to be doing in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the bolts on the power seat because you have to move it all the way forward and all the way backward. So I'm going to do that, get those bolts out. Then I'll go ahead and do the final cold start of this mighty LS1 engine before it gets torn down. So we're going to kind of start with that and then just keep moving. I'll cold start it, get it warmed up, and then I'll drain the fluids, and we'll go from there. I don't know how far we'll get today, but I'm going to keep people updated as I go. So hopefully my camera presence gets a little better and I'm not quite as awkward, but you know, that remains to be seen. So yeah, we'll see about time lapses and things eventually, but I'm going to try to keep it simple at first here. So again, welcome. To my girlfriend's garage. All right, we're back here with the Camaro. Shout out.
Very helpful and convenient that we were
Internet today.
That a Iranian.
Yeah, boys. All right, so I got the seats out. Most of the interior, the easy stuff, low hanging fruit. I got the jack and that other panel still sitting over there because that's where later the nitrous bottle will go. So we'll have to start fitting that at some point. Low-hanging fruit's out, got all the seats out pretty easily, just a bunch of 13mm nuts. Yeah, don't disconnect the battery till you take the driver's seat out, but passenger is super easy. Rears are right there and over there, and then there's just 2 bolts that go through these little tabs here. Very simple. But, got the door open, got the keys. I'm gonna fire this bad boy up for the first time. Cold start, and I'll let you guys hear what it sounds like. And then after I'm gonna let it heat up for a while, and then I will start draining the oil. And I'll take the transmission fluid out as well. And I'll probably start going on the rear end maybe as well. And then probably start getting the intake and the throttle body off, the strut brace, take the battery out, of course. And before I do that, or when I do that, I will follow along with this article right here. I'm gonna refresh myself before I start, but basically you start with disconnecting the battery, and then inside there's a little kick panel with some wires, and you disconnect the PCM, and you can go outside and start taking off the air intake and the throttle body, blah, 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 blah. There's connectors. So yeah, I'm gonna start going through that after I get the motor warm to get the coolant, or get the oil out, and then the transmission fluid as well out of the T56 in there. Not that that'll be hot, but I'll just do it at the same time. Yeah, I think that's about it for now. I'll start this bad boy up, and you guys can hear what it sounds like. Last cold start before the engine gets pulled. Just under 49,000 miles. Gas is at bingo, but that's good because we'll be installing a new fuel pump. We don't want to have to deal with the full tank. Let her warm up just a tad. This is a stock LS1. All original internals. It has never been opened. It currently has Cook's long tube headers, 1 7/8 inch, MSD plug wires. It's got the factory LS6 intake, factory throttle body, SS SLP intake direct from SLP. And it has SLP exhaust. A little bit of water dripping there out of the exhaust, that's okay. All right. Yeah, that's the Camaro. She's idling happily. Up on the stand, no legs. Here you look at the brake job I did. They're dirty, but they're quick. They stop real nice. It's factory GM stuff off of a CTSV. Steel braided brake lines from Core. And currently, it's got Conies and some red shocks, which I don't know what. Those are all gonna go. Sounds pretty good. sound a lot better with this nice Brian Tooley camshaft. Whoop, little sneak peek. Whoop, whoop. All right, I'm gonna let this warm up. We'll drain the fluids and we'll come back. I figured probably get one little rev. Exhaust is gonna sound sweet with a cam in it. Alright, she's warm. And bingo on gas. Back in a little bit. Hey, it's update time for the Camaro. Watching a little bit of Tony Angelo. I am currently at number 11, step 11, on Caliente's list here. So, that is the fuel line. I've got the fuel line off the evap canister here. Goes there. Plugs is out right there. This is the throttle cable that is off. Got the AC plug off on that side. The battery is out. The ground is disconnected over there. Got the air intake and the throttle body off. All these plugs are disconnected here and labeled. We got the coolant temp sensor here. The crank position sensor is down there, but I can't quite get to it yet. There it is. Yeah, down there. That'll come later. I got all the fluids drained out. Oil, transmission, rear end, steering, brake, and clutch, and coolant. So next is getting my fuel line off, and I've got one little sticky bugger that I think I'm gonna wait until tomorrow to do because I'm getting a little tired. I can get this focused here with one hand. Yeah, here we go. So this is my throttle or my fuel line. I can get my disconnect tool on here to get this off, but the problem is that little flange or that little brace right there, this thing mounts. As you can see, this connects this. It's just a brace for this fuel rail here mounted to this fuel line, and this little chungus is getting in my way for getting my fuel line disconnect on there. So I'm gonna have to go in and just grind off this little flange here, or a little protrusion to make it so I can get my connector or my disconnect tool on this fuel inlet hose there, and then get this off, and then the fuel lines come out. And then I can keep working on the steering shaft. Got the brake booster off. Got the radiator hoses off here. Just pliers, those will slide off. AC plug is held on to this little bracket, so that's now laying up here. The throttle cable anchors to this little bracket right here, and you just pop this off with a little screwdriver. It's got a little safety tab that holds it on, so pretty simple. So yeah, I think I'm gonna call it a night, and we'll come back tomorrow and hopefully, get this engine out of here. Good first day. Girlfriend is back home. Interior is out. Well, except for the center console. I got to do that tomorrow as well. Get the shifter out, center console out. And then we'll be back up to here. Get those fuel lines disconnected. AC lines, which my AC is already empty. So I'll get those disconnected. And then we'll move under the bottom and get the exhaust and the drive shaft out. And tomorrow I'll go to O'Reilly's and recycle that oil, and the Valvoline will take the coolant. So pretty fun first day. A little frustration getting some clips off and whatnot, but yeah, so far so good. I'm excited. We're gonna get this engine out, and yeah, keep on up with me. We'll do more tomorrow.